Hello and welcome back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Justin Stoddart. Excited today to have this conversation about health. Have you ever realized that you as a real estate agent, sometimes you'll focus on your health and maybe your business suffers just a touch, and then you go to focus on your business and your health suffers a little bit. Well, today we're going to talk about how really focusing on your health doesn't need to cause your business to dip. In fact, if anything, it ought to improve your business because the operator, the owner, the leader of that business is happier, healthier, stronger. I have with me today a gentleman by the name of Tim James. Tim owns a company here in the Portland area called Chemical Free Body. We're going to hear briefly about his story and about how he helps people to be high-producing professionals as well as very, very healthy people. He's a great role model for us to follow in that regard. So as a reminder, if you go to thinkbigger.realestate, there will be show notes and you can sign up to get weekly reports of who's been on the show and get highlights and updates that way. So I encourage you to do that if you've not done that already. So back to today's guest, Tim, first and foremost, thank you for coming on the show today. I appreciate you coming on and pouring into the Think Bigger Real Estate audience. Yeah,
Justin, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to share today.
Yeah, great. One thing that I've realized as it doesn't matter how many business tips, tactics, strategies that people give, right? There's shows and websites and YouTube videos that are filled with how to help a real estate agent have a successful business. Yet at the core, if the mechanism through which they can do all those tips and tactics, right, their body is not well, if their mind is not well, none of those things are going to work, right? That's all built upon a healthy lifestyle. That's all built upon a healthy mindset. Mm-hmm. And part of my passion with the Think Bigger Real Estate Show is to help get the foundation right, help get the thinking right, help get people well and happy and confident and feeling good about themselves so that they can go serve people at a higher level. And I'm thrilled to have you here today because I know that you're going to help us do that, right? When you drive down the street and there's endless opportunities for fast food and terrible food options. I walk through a grocery store and finding things that are high in protein and low in carbs is difficult, right? And even if I do find those things, what I'm putting in my body, I'm not even sure if it's good or not. So we want your help, Tim. Tell us a little bit about your story, how you got to the point to where you founded the company that you did. And then I want you to teach us some principles, health principles that we can all apply today.
Okay,
in fact,
cool.
Hold on, time out. Before I do that, I stop, start. So here's what I want everybody to know is that if you can't watch this whole episode, know that Tim has kindly given us access to some things for free. Teach us really quick, Tim, what you've offered us, and then jump into the second part of the question that I asked you.
Cool. So again, thanks for having me on. So for those listening today that would like to optimize their health. Again, I'll teach some tactics today that you guys can take with you that will totally transform your health. And they're so simple, but they're things that people aren't doing. I'm going to give away free coaching calls to anybody. It's a $97 value, 30 minutes with me. And you just complete a form. You get into my calendar, then you complete a form. And then also I'm going to give a copy of our gut detox guide, which is the guide we use as our core foundation to get people started on our coaching program. This is a $67 value. That's everybody's free from you, Justin, courtesy of Justin Stoddart at Think Bigger Real Estate. And if you guys want to get your hands on that manual, which I highly suggest you do, and on top of that, get a free coaching session, just send an email to info@chemicalfreebody.com and just say, hey, I was on Think Bigger Real Estate. I'd like to get the free manual and a free coaching session, and I'll send you those links, and we can help them get started.
Perfect. All right. So appreciate that. For anybody that can't listen to the whole episode for whatever reason, I want to be sure that you knew that there's some take-homes, some things that I've negotiated with Tim for him to give away. Again, free coaching session as well as this guy that I looked through it, and it's brilliant. He's really done a nice job with it. So anyway, thank you for that, Tim. So going back, what led you to want to embark on this journey of really both for yourself as well as for other people and helping them help your lifestyles, which again helps people to then on top of that build successful businesses, et cetera?
Absolutely. I think a little bit about my background would be important. I grew up over in Eastern Oregon on a cattle and hay farm. I grew up on the standard American diet. I was in the mortgage industry for 10 years, actually part of the core training program, which a lot of people here listening will know about. It's a high-level coaching business for high-level realtors and mortgage professionals. And I'd found myself at age 37, about 38 pounds overweight. I had skin issues. I had like eczema on both elbows, and I had a huge patch on my left knee. I had another skin issue on my shoulder that was gross. My belly was sticking out. I was embarrassed to take my shirt off. And I was an athlete. I mean, I played baseball at a high level. I mean, I played baseball for 30 years. And I always thought of myself as like an athlete, take charge type of guy. And my energy was waning. I wasn't sleeping well. I had acid indigestion really, really bad. And I was eating like Tums and Rolaids like all day long. Like I had a box in my car and in my truck. And then I had some in my house. And I was eating those things constantly. Doctor wanted me to go on Prilosec, but it just didn't sound right to me. I was trying to put it off. I was in denial. And eventually my gut was jacked up. And I found out I had what was called leaky gut syndrome later. I actually had blood coming out in my stools like half the time when I was going to the bathroom, and I told no one. I was just like, ashamed of it. And I thought, oh, it'll just go away or something. I mean, I don't even know what I was thinking back then. And so this is going on. And then I finally got to a point where I went on a vacation and I had to have a surgery and have an organ removed, destroyed the vacation for my family and me. It was miserable being in the hospital in Peru down there when I'm supposed to be vacationing. And, but I didn't know what to do with my health. I mean, you read all these books and stuff, and there's all this information out there, but it's just pieces of it work, but I couldn't put it all together. And then my friend on my baseball team, Kalei Mahoy, got diagnosed with like a stomach cancer, and he was the most fit of all of us. And he ended up dying after chemo and radiation and surgery. It was a horrible deal. And he had 3 little boys that he left behind with no insurance. We did a fundraiser, and it was just like, wow, that was somebody like my age that had passed away, and it started freaking me out because I'm like, dude, this guy was like in the best shape of all of us. If he gets cancer, we're screwed. Well, then right after that, my good friend Charles, who owned Town and Country Home Loans, Town and Country Mortgage, those two entities, I had moved away from the doing loans, and now I was doing financial planning. And he called me into his office and he said, hey, man, I got cancer. I want you to go with me to this institute. I'm going to try to heal naturally because I have this incurable cancer called chronic lymphocytic leukemia. It's a blood cancer. And I was just like, oh, shit, Charles is dead. It's like he's toast, because my whole experience has been you get cancer and you die. And I said, yeah, man, I'll go with you. And what we learned at the Institute was about proper detoxing and cleansing and what real nutrition was and how the gut works and how and just how to love yourself and all this stuff that I'd never thought about before. And I had a complete transformation in 7 days. I had lost 11 pounds. My energy went through the roof. My acid indigestion was gone day 1. Within 60 days, I'd lost the 38 pounds. I mean, the weight just flew off of me as I changed my diet, which was my lifestyle. I changed my whole lifestyle. I changed everything, and I did it for Charles because I committed to him. I said, dude, I'm going to do this with you. And we went to a plant-based lifestyle at that point. Now, remember, I'm from Eastern Oregon, man. I was hunting and fishing and deer and elk and chukars and pheasants, and it was like ingrained in my life. All my friends thought I was crazy to go plant-based, but it worked. And within 8 months, that big, huge skin issue on my knee was gone as well. So my body had totally healed itself. Just like when you cut yourself, you heal, right? And I didn't know exactly how it all worked, but it worked. And now I've learned how it did work. And that's what I do now is I share this message with other people in our coaching program. I got out of the financial services business, started chemicalfreebody.com, started the coaching program. And then a little while later, we started our own supplement business because we use supplements and detox products to get people off the ledge to transform their lives faster. And a lot of people don't have the time to go fly away for 2 weeks and go to some institute. They got to work, and they got bills and mortgages and things they got to do, and kids in school and soccer and all these things. So we've developed a program that people can do it at home in less than 5 minutes a day to start. And it just flat works because it's based on principles that work on the human body.
It's interesting. I was actually this morning listening to a renowned heart surgeon who's now kind of a spiritual leader. He talked about when they were trying to recreate a heart and lung machine so that they could stop the heart, so that they could repair the heart.
Right.
Before, and he stepped in and started doing. He realized that if you put a certain chemical in the blood that went through the heart would stop. I think it was some sort of potassium. And he said it didn't work only one time. It worked every time. And he talked about that, like there's true principles like gravity, right? that an airplane and a pilot knows that gravity works a certain way, and that the laws of aerodynamics allow for a plane to leverage these principles in order to defy gravity. And so
Correct.
It's interesting when you talk about principles, health principles, that oftentimes it takes an absolute tragedy, right? A family being hit by cancer, for everyone to take a good hard look to say, like, who are we getting advice from? What's the truth about how we should be taking care of our bodies? And this stuff isn't widely published, right? It doesn't, it's not, this isn't common knowledge. The stuff that you uncovered, that the best hospitals in the country held and taught at a time of desperate need, is stuff that we all ought to be learning. And what I'm hearing you say is that you've taken those kind of secrets, if you want to call them that, and you've brought them to the public to say, hey, look, this is how to avoid, first of all, some of these diseases, and just live a happy, healthy life.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I've realized is that it's all about detoxing, and we promote and teach daily detoxing over here. Here's the big problem that's facing us, and this is why everybody's got health problems. We spend $3.3 trillion in this country on healthcare, yet we're ranked like 38th to 48th in the world in health. So the system's broken. The more money we continue to pour into the same system, it doesn't even make sense. It's really stupid.
Great point.
So if you have to become your own doctor, and you have to learn how to take care of yourself, just like every other wild creature does out in nature. And we have a huge disconnect from nature. That's the big problem. So the major problems that people are facing today is, number one, is cellular dehydration. We're simply not drinking enough water. 95% of the people today are not drinking enough water. I've benchmarked over 600 people in my coaching program. Less than 5% are doing that. Number two, less than 4% of people are chewing their food really, really, really well. That's a big problem. Number three, people are drinking liquids with meals. When you do this, you're diluting your digestive enzymes, and you're screwing yourself up, and you're going to cause fermentation in the gut, which is gut rot, and you're destroying your gut on a micro level. So we have people avoid that. And the other thing we have people do is we have them do breath work before a meal or anytime they're stressed, because our lives are so freaking stressed out today. I mean, think about it. Just jumping in the car and driving down I-5. It's 70 miles an hour is a crazy event. If you look at human biology, go back thousands of years, grab somebody in a time machine, put them in a car going 70 miles an hour down I-5, and they come to, and they're probably going to have a heart attack, right? So we have so much stress today. And when you're in stress mode, that's called fight or flight. And your blood leaves the organ systems and it goes into your extremities to fight, or run, flight. And if it's out in the extremities, then it's not going to digest very well. So just by doing a minute worth of breath work, you can take the blood, take it back into the organ systems, and actually process your food. So those are the 4 tips today. Drink lots of water. And again, in the manual, it'll tell you how much. Chew your food until liquefied. Avoid liquids with meals. And do some breath work. And that doesn't cost anybody anything. It works. We have our clients program those as recurring appointments in their phone. They get that habit down over 90 to 120 days, and their life's going to change. And we haven't even changed their diet, and we haven't talked about exercise. So again, the big overview, the big problem is we're not drinking enough water. Our bodies are completely polluted in the digestive tract and in the blood, the fat, and the muscle tissue with toxins. And all you have to do is go online and type in umbilical cord and chemical, and you'll see the articles going back to 2005 showing that every single child and young mother that they've tested the umbilical cord blood, they find well over 250 man-made chemicals, and over 180 of those cause cancer. Over 212 of those cause brain and developmental disorders. We're talking about major problems. The scientists and the doctors refer to this as a body burden. That's why children today are sicker than ever. The people that are 35 and younger are actually sicker than people 65 and older. Hard to believe, but that's what's happening because of the lack of good, clean, purified water, chemical pollution, and then the last thing is the nutrients have simply been farmed out of our soil. 85% of the nutrients are gone, and they have to be replaced. These are the building blocks and the fuel that our cells need. And when you simply turn those things around and you start hydrating yourself properly and you clean out all the toxins and the garbage and the accumulated waste matter that's in our gut, And it's scary, man. The average person's carrying around 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material and mucoid plaque lining the intestinal tract. We can show you how to get most of that out in 15 days, and you won't even know it's coming out. There's no diarrhea. And then, and then we need to, get rid of the stress and then put those good nutrients back in. If you do those 3-4 things, your life's going to turn around. You're going to have more energy, and then you're going to want to start looking for new food choices. Your taste buds change. Then you have the energy to want to exercise, and then we promote that you do some movement that you like, not necessarily the gym. You might not like the gym. Maybe you like walks or riding bicycles or swimming. Do what you love to do for movement. And then when that starts going, then people start sleeping better, and it just starts tumbling in the right order. And again, this can be turned around very quickly. Coaching program, and people are completely transforming themselves in 6 months with these basic principles and the products and all the other stuff we share.
And everything you're saying, Tim, is absolutely resonating with me. It's hard to fathom that at a time when economically as a nation we're doing probably better than we ever have before.
Yeah.
We still have so many health problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we still have such a disconnect from actually being happy and being healthy. And I think with abundance comes all kinds of options, and those options often come labeled with all kinds of beautiful designs and pitches. And I think having somebody like yourself, who again went to the best medical doctors in the world on how to take care of the human body, and applied those principles in your own life, and then brought them out to all of us, is a really, really powerful concept. I want to thank you for doing that, and for helping all of us think bigger. Right? It's hard to have big ambitions and sustain those if you're unhealthy, right? If you're unhappy, if your body's not working correctly, everything else that you have planned for your life, whether it be dancing at your daughter's wedding, playing with your grandchildren, meeting your grandchildren, having that quality of life that everybody works so hard to one day get in retirement, is not going to be there if you wear out your body getting there in the first place.
Yeah, it's scary, man, because the statistics are really, we work our whole lives. We leave our children, we leave our home, we go out there, we make this money, we pay taxes on that money. And, and a lot of real estate agents, the more they make, the bigger their tax burden gets, right? So we do all this hard work, and then we save up all this money. So now we have this big pile of money. We've got some rental properties, whatever. We got all this good stuff. And then, boom, there's a major health event. And then you spend all your money trying to get just a little bit of health back. So we sacrificed our health the whole time. We have a lower quality of life, stacking up the cash. And then when the major event happens, we spend down all of our money trying to get a little bit of health back. You ask somebody, what's it worth that has cancer if they could, not have it? They'll tell you they'll give away everything. Because they just want to live, right? So we don't have to go into that cycle. 62% of bankruptcies in the United States are from medical bills, if that doesn't scare people, okay? 62%, that's over half of all bankruptcies are related to medical expenses. So again, it's a broken system. People are falling apart. Who doesn't know somebody that has cancer? Who doesn't know somebody that's on medications? My clients, after they get off their medications and stuff like that, if they get a new doctor, the doctors come in or their nurses are going through their chart and they're like, you don't take any medications? People in their 50s, they can't even believe it. It's like, wow, we don't have many people like this. We consume so many pharmaceutical drugs over here. It's ridiculous. So I really wanted to talk to the realtors today about performance too, because what I noticed was in my coaching program, I started because I told this one guy, he was actually he was a salesperson, and he'd never made over $8,000. And I go, Izzy, his name was Izzy. I said, you watch. Not only are you going to get healthy, but you're going to make more money. And he's like, really? And I said, yeah, let's set a money goal. It was kind of a fun thing. And I said, let's set a money goal before the end of the coaching program that you have made $10,000 in a month. And he's like, okay. And we just kind of forgot about it. And we focused on the basic principles. And 2.5 months later, we were doing a coaching call. He's like, Tim, you're not going to believe it. I'm like, what? He goes, I just did 10,300 last month. And I was like, yeah, see, dude, I told you. Now, why is that? Because when you take what you were talking about earlier, your body, your vehicle that's going to get you through life, And isn't it the most important thing that you should take care of? Yeah, we take care of our cars better. We take care of our watch better. I mean, your body is sacred. And if you don't take care of it, where else are you going to live? You know,
Love that
so
quote.
this is the vehicle. So what happened was, is as we detoxed his body, cleaned up his cells, cleaned up the fat and the muscle tissue, cleaned up the digestive tract, and started pumping his body full of purified water and a bunch of green nutrition, he has more energy, and his cells are literally vibrating at a higher frequency. And the culmination of his 100 trillion cells vibrating at higher frequency is what? He's vibrating at a higher frequency. So he became more attractive to people he's dealing with because they want to work with him. He's just like, something about him. I mean, this is what people are saying, like, your skin's glowing, and he has the energy to make the extra calls at the end of the day. He has the extra energy to go, go out and see somebody and write up an agreement to purchase the real estate or whatever. You just become more attractive, and your brain becomes sharper. And then when you're done with work, you can go home and play baseball, play catch with your kid in the backyard, or play with your daughter, and you have the energy to do it, rather than the opposite, which is people are waking up and they're trying to just stimulate themselves so that they drinking the coffees, drinking the 5-hour energy drinks all day long, just trying to get through the day. If you feel like you're just trying to get through the day, you don't have to do that anymore. These basic principles that we teach will totally transform your life. So you can have a higher quality of life, and then and you're going to make a lot more money. And then when you do retire, once you understand how the human body works, your body, you don't have to worry about getting cancer or heart disease, because there's simple, basic reasons people are getting this stuff. And once you understand that, you become bulletproof as far as your health goes. And then the best part of this whole thing, Justin, is that when you change yourself and you start improving yourself, people around you are going to be watching you. And as you transform yourself, and as you start losing the weight, and as you have more energy, and as you're making more money, they're going to start following suit. Not all of them, but some of them will. So when you change yourself, you're actually changing your world, and you're affecting the people around you. See, your poor health doesn't just affect you, it affects everybody around you. Because if you're getting sick and you're in a hospital, they got to pick you up, they got to drive you around, it's expensive. They have to leave work to take care of you. It's a major problem. And you can be a shining example to yourself, most importantly, loving self, your friends, your family, and your community. And that's what we help people do.
Man, you have fit right into the theme so nicely of this show, again, which is to help people think bigger, right? When I can put people around this audience, around myself and around this audience, of people like you that are big thinkers, that can bring big thinking ideas, things that really change the way that we think. Yeah. People's their own actions start to follow suit, right? Their thoughts improve, their actions improve, and their ability to impact other people improves. And this is a topic that not a lot of people want to talk about, right? It's obvious to everybody when people have a health concern, right? Yeah. When someone's not well, again, the impact upon even coworkers in the workplace has a ripple effect upon your customers. Your ability to lead people is deeply impacted and affected when you're not well. And I think it's time that we as a society put a reemphasis on our health. And I don't think it has to be all consuming, right? People don't have to do what you do for a living, Tim, in order to be fit like you, right? In order to be healthy like you. I think that's where a lot of people get maybe bogged down a little bit, or they get in their own way as they think like, I'm too busy for that, right? I've got to hit a McDonald's and I've got to keep going. And
well, they don't really understand how simple it is. See, everything in our society is by design is made to be so dang complicated that you have to go get some other professional to tell you what to do. I can't tell you how many times like somebody has a problem and they find out they have, and they go meet with one doctor that they've never met. They've known him for 10 minutes. They're like, okay, you've got cancer. And then you need to do chemo, you need to do all this stuff. And they're like, okay. I'm like, you've just met this person. You don't even know them. I mean, are they healthy themselves? And I teach all my clients, like, all your health, we help them set up their health professional team around them. And that health professional team needs to be healthy. They have to have fantastic skin. They have to have white eyes. They have to have lots of energy. They actually have to be living it and breathing themselves. It's like going to a dietitian that's overweight. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I take information from you? You can't even do it for yourself. Or going to a blind ophthalmologist to look at my eyes. It doesn't make sense. You just have to go to people that have the results and that maintain them in their own lifestyle. So the doctors that I work with typically were, 350 pounds, and they transformed themselves, and they've been that way super healthy for 40 years. Or they had cancer and they transformed themselves and they've been super healthy for 30 years. These guys and gals are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they're healthier than me because they understand these principles and they've worked on it longer. And, that's what I just want to be healthy. I want to be the grandfather that's running down the beach doing sprints with the grandkids. And then people are like, who is that guy? How does he do that? Well, it's because I understand the basic principles. I know how to drink freaking water. I chew my food really well. I flood my body with nutrients all the time. And I know how to detox myself on a daily basis because this polluted fish bowl we live in, it's just polluted. The air is polluted. The water is polluted. And you just have to be aware of it. But people don't know because it's what I call the no-see-ums. It's the stuff happening on a microscopic level that you can't see where the problem lies. So what I've learned is taking the complex and making it very simple so people can take baby steps and start implementing these things in their life. And as they get results, we just slowly stack on more cards in the deck of health. And before they have a full deck, their health's transformed. And now they know how to do this. And it's not like some big burden, right, where they have to make these major shifts. And it has to last. That's the thing. We want to teach people a lifestyle. It's not a diet. This isn't like, any of that stuff. It's a complete lifestyle based on basic, simple principles that work with human physiology. That's it.
I love it. Let's make mention once again of how people can get info from you. If people aren't impressed with your knowledge and kind of what you've brought to the table today, I think you're crazy. But let me go ahead and put up here on the screen where people can go to get two things, right? One is a free coaching session with you. Yep. And secondly is your ebook.
Yeah, it's called the Gut Detox Guide. Yeah, and we're really passionate. Again, our main business over here is coaching, and anybody out there that's struggling, hey, hop on the phone with me, send an email and we'll get you that. I'll send you the link so you can get that free coaching session. Love to help you. And also, like I said, as a gift, we'll give them a free copy of that Gut Detox Guide so they can get started on some of these basic principles at home that work. They just work.
It's good stuff, man. Total value that you've offered today. I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for helping us think bigger. So on that note, let's end with our signature question here, Tim, which is this. You're obviously a big thinker. You've changed not only your own health, but the health of a lot of other people, and have a big ambition to continue to spread this mission, right? Mm-hmm. Wider and further, helping people have great lives so that they can have great businesses that fund more impact. Tell us, what does a guy like you continue to do in order to continue to be a big thinker?
Well, that's an easy question for me because after I left the Hippocrates Health Institute, I realized that what I thought was true about a lot of things wasn't true at all. The types of foods that I was supposed to eat and the whole protein, carb, fat thing was completely jacked up. I learned the basics and I felt so good. Then I realized that, wow, my belief system was way off from reality. So I became very open-minded and I kept pursuing things and things would come to me that I thought was woo-woo stuff. And I'm like, well, I'll try it. And then it would work. I'm like, okay, keep opening your mind. And I could tell a story, but I know the podcast is a little bit shorter than most of them. So, but I would say for me, it's about being open-minded and knowing that I've learned a lot, but I stay open-minded and I realize that I still have a lot to learn and I want to learn. I want to keep finding things for myself, for my health and my family and my happiness, and then be able to find these things and then share them with our clients, friends and family and people around me that are open-minded and, and ready to change because people have to be ready. Otherwise, you can't push a rope basically.
I love it. Open your mind and watch with the amazing things that can come into it. So thank you so much, Tim. It's been a total pleasure. I want to thank you again for being a part of the value add that I like to bring to this audience. And I want to end with this charge to everybody listening today. Just 3 simple words there. Go think bigger. Thank you again, Tim, for helping us do that today. I look forward to having more people hear about your mission.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.